It's happened. Finally, we just got the announcement that the new Cuphead DLC, The Delicious Last Course, is coming out on June 30th, 2022. This DLC is actually the entire reason I started this channel more than 3 years ago now, and I can't believe it's taken this long to get here. If you haven't seen the trailer so far, I've put a link in the description below for you. Even though there's only a little bit of gameplay footage, there's enough of the boss fights for us to start digging in and analyzing. So first of all, the giant. Right off the bat, this guy is very clearly based on the giant from the Jack and the Beanstalk story. If you look at this cartoon from 1933, you can really see the resemblance. This giant also summons geese to attack you. Why is that important? Remember, in the Jack and the Beanstalk story, Jack actually steals the giant's golden goose, and then he murders the giant, and then he gets rich with his mom. So it kind of makes sense that the giant would have a goose-based attack. The level setup is very similar to Floor of Fury. We have a big enemy to the right side with platforms in the center and hazards both up in the sky and on the ground. If we look closely at the ground, these gnomes appear to be the biggest hassle of the fight. Note that Miss Chalice is actively dodging through the gnomes on the ground instead of walking, which makes me think they'll actually hurt you if you touch them. You can also see the gnomes' heads shoot up like spikes a short time after she steps on them, which means you can't really stay still on the ground for very long, or you're going to get impaled. Did you notice that gnome in the middle is actually shooting small yellow projectiles up at you? This is super hard to see, and with the geese flying everywhere, I guarantee you I'm going to die to it during the real game. The geese themselves don't appear to do any damage, but will probably serve to distract the player throughout the fight. The second boss, which is referred to as the Walloping Winter Whale, appears to be a mix of two very different themes. Number one is tarot readings and maybe magic, and fishing, specifically ice fishing. So the scene starts with tarot cards filling the screen. We see two major arcana, the sun and the moon, as well as the three of swords from the minor arcana. I'm really not an expert in tarot cards or tarot readings, so I really hope I got that right. When the fight starts, you also see the sun and the moon above the windows of the arena. The giant golden whale also has stars on it, which is another major arcana. Finally, this might be a bit of a stretch, but the fact that there are candles all over the arena may signify a tarot reading, as some practitioners like to use candles to aid in the reading. Next, I know tarot cards and magic aren't the same thing, but the boss here is very clearly a wizard or magician or something. You can see him pull the whale out of his hat like a rabbit. He kind of reminds me of the Ice King from Adventure Time with the skin color, his snow beard, and the whole ice magic thing. You'll notice he actually has a throne on the top right of the screen, so at the very least he's some sort of ice royalty. The second theme here is fishing. The most obvious tell is the whale diving into the ground, which implies that there's water underneath the surface of the ice. The flags on the side of the arena also have buckets, which remind me of chum buckets. These are buckets used by fishermen to dump bait into the water to attract more fish. You'll notice that some of the snowmen watching in the stands are also wearing an orange bucket as a hat. If we look at an older trailer from 2019, we actually see an ice golem with shackles and a snow beard that resembles the wizard. It's also wearing the same orange bucket hat that the snowmen in the stands were wearing, and all the spectators are gone. Did the wizard consume the entire audience to become some sort of giant snowman god? Oh, I really hope so. The third boss is Sheriff Winchester. Right off the top, Winchester is the name of both a type of beef as well as a type of gun, so that's a nice little pun to start us off. They also remind me a lot of Disney's Clarabelle Cow, who used to be one of Minnie's friends back in the old day of Disney cartoons. We only really get to see a few seconds of gameplay, but I find it really interesting that they're vacuuming up bags of money, gold bars, and sheriff badges during the fight. Are they stealing the stuff for themselves, or are they returning the money back to the bank? It's really unclear. Not that I have any doubts, but I'm really glad that the airplane levels are back in the DLC. I really enjoy these types of levels, even if they were harder than the regular ones. Finally, the last boss revealed during the trailer is the Knight. If it wasn't obvious from the chess pieces flying at the screen and the giant flag next to Mr. Game & Watch, this boss is a living chess piece. However, given how he's panting and has his tongue out like a dog in this animation, I'm willing to bet that this is to show he's both a guard dog and a knight. You don't really see anyone else in the background here, so maybe he's protecting this castle while his owners are gone. For gameplay, you don't really get to see too much here either, except you're able to parry off the horse's mane. This is similar to other permanent parryable objects like the laser in Shootin' and Lootin' and the Patsy Mentals summoned by Baroness von Bonbon. Looking at the background, I can't really pull anything else out of it except for the fact that you seem to be inside a castle, which is peculiar because you don't actually see a castle on the 3D diorama of DLC Island. Maybe you go underground, or maybe a new area will open up, I don't know. Even though there's not that much gameplay footage, I'm really excited for this game. Is there something I missed? Is there something you think I got wrong? Please let me know. I'm just doing my best trying to figure out what's going on. So if you have any other ideas, or if you're excited about the DLC, let me know. I cannot wait for June 30th. I'll see you guys later.